This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV Prime. In association with Micromax. Nothing like anything.
On CNB this week, the arrogantly aggressive GLA 45 AMG. A new 150cc segment motorcycle, this one's from Suzuki, the Gixxer. And two new scooters in the 110cc class, the Mahindra Gusto and TVS Scooty Zest. Hi there folks, and welcome to CNB. Thanks for joining us, and thank you also for all the fantastic feedback we've received from so many of you for our two Paris Motor Show specials. Appreciate that. Now you got a little glimpse of the little monster that's here with me. The GLA 45 AMG is also stepping into the market. You know, you'd think that I'd get tired of saying AMG. I mean, there's just been so many of them that we brought you on the program that have been driving into the market. You had the ML, the GL, the CLA 45, and now it's the turn of the GLA to go 45 AMG. All the details on this car right at the top of the show. The GLA 45 AMG is the souped up and powerful version of the GLA that just arrived in India. We got you the GLA first on the show, didn't we? So why not the GLA 45 AMG too? It's the year that Mercedes-Benz wants to get really aggressive in India. We know this already. So it's not surprising to see another AMG driving in. Nice little badging at the back, which tells you instantly that this is a powerful car. And if you miss that, well, then you've got the quad exhaust, little red stripe running along there. That's of course part of the whole decal package, which I'm not a fan of. I mean, I'd rather have this car in Jupiter red without all of this stickering, but it attracts attention, as it has been today. We've been driving through traffic, people turning around to look at this car. You've got the side skirting as well, which is part of the AMG package. The nicely matted out roof rails, which also look nice, panoramic sunroof. The really mean looking AMG alloys with the brakes showing through in red. And in the front, the face gets even more aggressive. Really nicely finished front grille, the AMG badging, little red thrown in there to go with all of those decals. And of course, the bumper is nice and sporty too. So it gets the attention, it's muscular looking. And overall, the package is lower than what you see on the regular GLA. Now that's of course because this is performance oriented, so it needs to hug the road just a little bit. So it kind of stops looking like an SUV then, doesn't it? So the GLA 45 looks different enough, but the part you want to see is the drive. Sadly, I had the car for a short time, and that too in the city, but I decided to make the best of it anyway. Gotta love these red seat belts. Alright, so I'm off. Let's get things on the road. Let's see how the car does in traffic for starters. It's been completely frustrating. Ever since I got into this car, I've been itching to exercise all its muscle. I mean, it's got over 350 horses under the hood, and I haven't even been able to get as much as a snarl out of the engine yet. So I'm just hoping for a nice little stretch of road sometime soon. But Delhi traffic, yeah, the word is frustrating. But then I kind of asked for it too. Luckily, as I got a bit further, I could accelerate a little bit. The car's 4MATIC all-wheel drive system also kicks in, and you realize that with all that power, there is a tremendous sense of control too. The lower ride height also adds to the sportier driving dynamic, and the GLA 45 AMG feels like a super red-hot hatch, which is fun, really. That sounds good, doesn't it? Well, I finally got that little break that I was literally craving by now. You know, this engine is a familiar one because it's the exact same engine that goes into the CLA 45 AMG, which we've showed you before. But the difference is that engine's got a sort of a screaming quality to it, while this one, nice deep-throated rumble. The reason, this has something called the performance exhaust package that's been added on, which you don't find in the CLA 45. The numbers do justice to this package. It's just a 2-liter engine, it's just a 4-cylinder, but my god, can it perform. You put it into sport mode, the character changes completely, paddle shifters, it's on. Yup, the 7-speed AMG speed shift is fun too, with the paddles especially, and that's when I finally got a taste of what this car is really capable of. Of course, in the city I had to be mindful of the speed limits, so it wasn't too much fun. The GLA 45 AMG launches in India by the end of the month, which is when Mercedes-Benz will tell us the prices. But it will be expensive, and so the car will be the preserve of a chosen few. Just like all AMG models, right? The Suzuki Gixxer rode into the market just a few days ago, and plenty of you are plenty curious about it. Lots of you have been writing in and asking about it, so of course it was up to us to get you all the details. Now Bala has spent some time with the bike. Here's the full review, and we also try and figure out whether Suzuki finally has the goods to really take on its competition.
It's the latest contender in the 150cc bike segment. And there may be capable rivals like the TVS Apache or the Bajaj Discover F, but Suzuki is going all out to hit the Yamaha FZ version 2.0 with its new Gixxer. The naked street bike look almost makes these bikes look like long-lost brothers, but the Gixxer does have a more macho feel, especially with the well-sculpted fuel tank and sporty chrome dual exhausts. The design inspiration has clearly worked for the Gixxer, with Suzuki making it rather appealing. Other design elements that deserve a mention are the bulky-looking 140 section rear tyre and the sporty set of Y-shaped alloy wheels. The fully digital instrument cluster is neatly laid out with an easy-to-read speedometer, gear position indicator, shift light and a digital clock. What is impressive is the improvement in the overall quality on the Gixxer compared to other Suzuki bikes in the market. We hope we continue to get this kind of detailing. It's quick off the block, and the Gixxer's engine sounds nice too, without being noisy, and it has smooth revs.
Now what's also fun about the ride on the Gixxer is this fairly sporty riding stance that you get, because you have these really nice wide handlebars, and also you've got really good balance, especially while cornering with these handlebars. In city traffic the bike feels light and nimble, so pretty perfect there. And on the highway the engine feels very refined, smooth acceleration and really confident braking. And so weekend ride out on this one might not be such a bad idea.
The 155cc engine on the Gixxer uses a carburetor-type fueling system which delivers a maximum power of 14.6 bhp and a generous torque of 14 Nm. All of this mated to a 5-speed gearbox, which is quick with an equally responsive and light feel clutch. But the bike could have used a 6-speed in our view. The Gixxer gets Suzuki's Eco Performance technology to offer broad low-end torque and impressive mid-range power for strong acceleration. The bike's handling is enhanced with a single down-tube steel tubular frame with 41 mm front forks and a monoshock rear suspension. The braking feels solid. The front disc and rear drum brake adds quite a bit of confidence to the overall ride. The Gixxer has been attractively priced at just over 72,000 rupees, and that is lower than the Yamaha FZ version 2.0 at 76,000 rupees, which could just be the clincher for Suzuki.
Now it was about time that Suzuki got its act together in India and brought in a bike that was true to its character and capabilities, and also got its pricing and marketing strategy right. And with the new Gixxer, they seem to have found the right strategy. Also, you've got this really sleek and muscular design that will appeal to a lot. And then you'll start beginning to wonder why Suzuki took its own sweet time to bring this bike to the Indian market, especially in a segment which is highly competitive. But if I were the competitors, no matter how late this bike arrived in India, I would be a bit worried.
So then, need we say more? With the Gixxer, Suzuki seems to have a winner on its hands, so it may finally be some reason to celebrate this festive season for the Japanese bike maker.
So now time to tell you who's won the grand prize in our SUV trail contest, and you're going to get one of these. No, not one of those, one of these. And the lucky winner who gets themselves a nice little model of the GLA class, Amit Sharma. Congratulations, thank you so much for participating. You got all 5 answers right, which is why of course you've been pulled out. Many of you did, but Amit's got to be the lucky one. So congrats Amit, you will be receiving one of these very soon. Time for us to slip into a short break here on CNB. We'll be back with plenty more. Welcome back to CNB. Now we're going to stay in the two-wheeled space, but we've got 2 sets of 2 wheels coming your way. They're both scooters. Now the scooter segment itself is getting hotter and hotter. Why not? Well, there's lots of a revival and resurgence sort of sentiment that floats around in this space because they're becoming pretty popular once again. It's not just the motorcycles. So two new arrivals, as I mentioned. The first one is the TVS Scooty Zest, and the second is the new Gusto from Mahindra.
Given Honda's huge success with the 125cc scooters, we've seen a rush of launches in this segment in the past couple of years. But it is the 110cc category that is now really heating up. The Mahindra Gusto and the TVS Scooty Zest are two new products ready to fight for your attention in this now crowded space. They will have to take on the mighty Honda Activa, Dio and Aviator, and then there are the Hero Pleasure and Maestro, the Yamaha Ray and the new Suzuki Let's. Also in the segment are the TVS Vigo and Jupiter. So do the newbies have what it takes? 2 decades after the Scooty name was first used by TVS, we get the latest iteration in the form of the Zest. This is the first time the Scooty gets a 110cc engine, unlike the 90cc Scooty Pep Plus and Streak.
Now the first impressions, the Scooty Zest looks like a smaller package of TVS Vigo. In the front it gets a new headlamps, nice apron, stylish indicators, new instrument cluster panel, nice and wide seat lengths, new grab rails, and at the rear it has pointed LED brake light cluster, which looks a lot different than its ongoing Scooty models.
There is 19 litres of space available for storage under the seat, and the scooter's overall design is crisp and modern. We spent good time with the new Scooty on a track and found an improved ride feel. The 110cc engine is the same one that powers the Vigo and Jupiter, and it is punchy. It appears to have been worked on further as it comes across as more refined and less noisy. The Scooty Zest is priced at 43,200 rupees ex-showroom Delhi, and TVS plans to focus its marketing efforts on women buyers. Now on to the Mahindra Gusto. The scooter inherits some segment first from the Centuro, so there is a flip key and a locate me feature, but another nice first is the height adjustable seat. Even the rather awkward style of opening the seat somehow works, but the 15 litres of storage space is not good enough for a full-size helmet. It also has optional front storage bin, but there's no provision to charge your cell phone, something most scooters offer these days. We tested the Gusto on the highway and city streets near Jodhpur. The scooter performs well with much improved overall ride quality as compared to previous Mahindra scooters. The 110cc engine performs well both on highways and in the city, and the company claims a mileage of 63 kilometers to the litre. The suspension is good enough to take on Indian roads. However, at high speeds, things do get a little bit bumpy. Mahindra has also priced the Gusto competitively with its base variant at 44,000 rupees. The top end with all those features like the height adjustment, the flip key and locate me options is priced at 47,000 rupees ex-showroom Delhi. Both TVS and Mahindra want to increase their volumes in this category. For Mahindra, the 110cc space is new territory, while for TVS it is all about regaining lost ground. The mighty Honda Activa is the one to beat, but that won't be easy given Honda's brand image and the Activa's popularity. The Activa's average sales per month are at around 1,80,000 units, while TVS with its Scooty Pep Plus and Streak lags well behind at an average of 35,000 units. The new Zest will surely be a shot in the arm, and Mahindra will begin its innings in this segment, hopefully with lots of gusto.
Time for me to say goodbye to you now, folks. I hope you enjoyed the program. Please react to it. Tell us what you'd like to see on it. Please wear your seatbelts, even though they may not be as exciting looking as this one is. And please wear your helmets if you're on a two-wheeler. On that note, bye-bye. See you next week.